You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network.
More fire, more heat. This is
You're listening to the boss of the big boy.
That's right, Las Vegas and all my sports bettors around the world. You're rocking with the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket Vegas Scoreboard Express, live from the KSHP studios here in Las Vegas. VSX Digital Sports Networks. Again, I'm your host and boss of the big board. This Sunday morning, February the 5th, 2023. Waking you up early in the morning, putting that cash in your pocket, giving you the bets that pay. Going to be talking a little bit of NBA today, some big game prop bets. Got my main man, Ron, Third Down Bets, VSX contributor, on the line with us. And second half of the show, be sure to stay tuned for my main man, Scotty Beam 'em Up Webb from the East Coast Sports Investors. He's going to be giving you all of the picks that you need to keep you in the running this Super Bowl. So without further ado, got my main man on the line. We're going to be doing this NBA recap for you yesterday. Ron, Third Down Best Bets, VSX Digital Sports contributor. Ron, are you on the line with me this morning? How you doing?
I am. Good morning, brother. How you doing?
Doing great. Good morning to you. This section and segment being brought to you by Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB, giving you 15% off. And I'm hooking you up with 7 days free. So don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV. So, Ron, taking a look at this NBA schedule that we had yesterday, we gave out 4 picks and we're able to put cash in the pocket on all 4 picks. Gotta love that. And I'm telling you right now, these picks also being brought to you by BetUS. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com, my website. Click that live BetUS link, sign up, get yourself a free bonus for first-time sign-ups. So, talking about the NBA a little bit this morning. Yesterday, 4 picks. We only gave you 4 early in the morning. All winners, but let's talk about the teams that could not get it done. First team on the list, rotation number 559, the Los Angeles Lakers went all the way out to New Orleans. Rotation number 560 and lost 126-131. Taking a look at that box score right now, the New Orleans Pelicans were able to cover that plus 3.5. What's going on in Lakerland? Now, Ron, we know you're out in L.A. These guys can't seem to buy a win, and they've got a team full of superstars, albeit aging. This is a new generation. What's going on out there? Go ahead.
They got talent, they got some stars, but they don't have any chemistry. They just don't play well together. When they're healthy, though, they can look really good at times. But it's all up to Gingerbread. If he's in there, they got a shot. Without him, it's over. But they've got to trade Russ Westbrook. They got to resolve this. It's just been an issue all year.
They're talking about.
He doesn't know if he wants to stay or go himself. So they need to make the decision.
I mean, it's a really tough situation. They're talking about possibly trading him over to Brooklyn and maybe bringing in Kyrie. Now, we talked about the L.A. Lakers yesterday losing down in New Orleans 126-131. If you were able to take that dog bet yesterday, we told you to put the cash in your pocket with the Pelicans. So, in reality, if you go from one kind of non-meshing player to another player that may not mesh well, I know that LeBron and Kyrie played together in Cleveland, but when you think about it from that perspective, Ron, do you think that would be a good move for the Lakers? Because if you look at it over the last couple of years, these guys have really been focused on trying to create a championship quality team. And we know they won that paper championship in 2020. We're not going to talk about that. Not very important. But since then, since the season has gotten back to the regular season, fans back in the stands, everything going back to normal, Lakers just can't seem to find those wins. And to be a dominant team as they have been over the past decade, they've had their fits and starts, through the early 2000s. But when LeBron came, did the city, and you as a Lakers fan, expect this many losses? Go ahead.
No, not at all. Nobody ever expected this. And it's out of character. This is not a normal Lakers franchise right now. They don't get beat like this. They never have.
Now, their head coach, Darvin Ham, let me talk about head coaching. Darvin Ham, I think he's a first-time NBA head coach. Do you think it's possibly a head coaching perspective? Because we know all of us Lakers fans remember back in the mid-'90s, we went through Kurt Rambis. We went with, I think they went with Rudy Tomjanovich for like a week or two. But then we finally went out and got Phil Jackson, and it turned things around. So who would be an NBA coach that could come to Lakerland and turn it around? Because the Lakers have always had a star coach, either back in the day with Phil Jackson. If you look at it from the perspective of recently, they've just been doing that round robin again, for the last 4, 5, 6 seasons. So who is the head coach in the NBA who could possibly come out to LA and help turn that thing around? Go ahead.
Well, there's nobody really available right now. I mean, the only one I could think of that would work would be Steve Kerr, but I don't see him coming to LA. But he's pretty happy in Golden State and done a really good job there.
Right.
I personally think it's a GM problem. I think they need to move on from Rob Pelinka. He doesn't want to make trades because he is worried about trading a 2027 and 29 first-round pick. Well, Mr. Pelinka, you stink now. You're going to stink in 6 years, too, probably, unless you make some moves. Why are you holding draft picks for 5, 6 years from now when you can't win now? That makes no sense to me. Make the move. Help your team.
Gotta do something out in Lakerland. You guys took that loss yesterday. Not very happy about that, but let's move over to the Eastern Conference. We talked about this one yesterday. It did go to overtime, shockingly. Rotation number 549. The Washington Wizards went up to 95 to Brooklyn and lost. The Brooklyn Nets were able to take out that win yesterday. Rotation number 550, 123 to 125. Let's talk about it a little bit, Ron. Brooklyn. Now, they were able to pull out that win. Let's take a look at the box score. When you talk about a player like Kyrie Irving, okay, who had his opportunities in that city, not playing on the floor yesterday, these guys were able to take a pretty decent Washington Wizards team to overtime and win it. Do you think that the Brooklyn Nets are now just going to go ahead and move forward with that trade for Kyrie? Go ahead.
Yeah, this could really be a plus, with a subtraction. I mean, he just doesn't seem to fit there. He asked for a trade, and then all of a sudden now his calf's hurt. I mean, do you want to play basketball or not? I mean, do you want to play or not? That's what it comes down to.
I mean, it's a real tough situation when you look at what the Brooklyn Nets are going through. You're talking about a team right now with 3 of the most current young superstars in the NBA with Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, and now you got this Kyrie Irving situation. And you got to tell me that these guys are winning with the likes of Nick Claxton, Seth Curry, Patty Mills, Markieff Morris. I mean, you got to realize when you talk about a team that has superstars and then they're able to pull out a gritty win at home minus those superstars, do you think it would even be necessary to have these guys back on the floor, or should the Nets maybe trade to try to get some draft picks? Take a look at what Josiah is doing with Ben Simmons. I think that's a draft pick bait. I mean, Ben Simmons hasn't done anything since he's gotten to the NBA. So when you look at it from that perspective and you ask yourself, when you have a player who's already been traded out of Philadelphia, he's going into the second half of his career over the next couple of weeks, you got to ask yourself, is this a team going forward in Brooklyn that you can keep putting your money on? Because right now they've got a pretty good team. They've got a pretty good record in the NBA. Taking a look at them right now, 32-20, only 5 games behind Boston. So when you talk about it from that perspective, Ron, do you think that Brooklyn Nets can stay on your NBA betting list for the rest of the season? And then we'll take this short commercial break. Go ahead.
Yeah, so far they've held it together so far, and I think it's going to help them losing him. I really do. I think he is a real problem for them in the locker room and on the court.
Bringing drama into the locker room. Not ever going to get you paid, Kyrie. You're probably going to get traded down to the Spurs or something like that. Probably put him with an older head coach. I think Popovich could try to work with him. You know, Popovich, he gets into a little bit of that stuff. But again, you're rocking with the boss of the big board, JB, the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. My main man, Ron, third down best bets, VSX contributor on the line with us, making it happen. Don't blow up your ticket today. Stay tuned. KSHP AM 1400. Want to give a shout out to my main man, Mark Hayes, for making it happen. He is our line producer and station manager, making it happen. You guys be sure to call over to KSHP and get your sponsorships and ads for the weekend. Vegas Scoreboard Express Live, KSHP, VSX Digital Sports Networks. I can say your business name and put more cash in your pocket, keeping people happy. Local businesses, get in touch with us. Ron, any shout-outs before I take this short commercial break, and we'll come back and talk some more NBA. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to give it out to my dad. He's not with us anymore, but he's up in heaven watching down, and he loves the Super Bowl. The dad bad.
That's what I'm talking about. Rest in peace. Same thing for my brother Joe up in heaven. A lot of my brothers are up in heaven. I'm an OG, but I'm just telling you right now, they knew I had the grease and been working these radio boards since New York. Long time story. But again, you guys stay tuned. KSHP AM 1400, VSX Digital Sports Networks, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. When I come back, more NBA, and then I got some Super Bowl props for you with my main man Scotty Beam 'em up Webb. You know what time it is. Time to wake up early in the morning. Grab your bankroll, hit the window, and beat the line. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Let's get that money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
Open Road Radio, Monday nights at 6 on 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas.
Online
At KSHP.com.
As a 3-time international award-winning restaurant, Joe's New York Pizza uses only the freshest and best available ingredients. From giant slices of hand-tossed pie to calzone, strombolis, fingers, and wings, Joe's serves all your favorites. Stop in for a slice at one of their 2 Las Vegas locations at Paradise and Harmon or South Las Vegas Boulevard, or you can check out their menu at joesnewyorkpizzalv.com.
STN Sports is the only sports betting app you need this season. STN Sports has it all. In-play betting, mobile parlay cards, the Play Plus card to fund and withdraw from anywhere in Nevada, and the latest lines on every game. STN Sports even lets you earn rewards on every bet. Safe and easy betting from your phone or tablet. Go to StationCasinoSports.com or sign up at any Station Casino, Fiesta Wildfire, or the El Cortez. Details at the sportsbooks.
A great time! Your entertainment destination, the South Point, invites you to experience the ultimate great time under one roof. Bowling, dancing, a live show, a movie, delicious dining, and one of South Point's 11 restaurants. So much to see, so much to do. You won't know where to start first. This week, make it a South Point week and discover for yourself why the South Point is your entertainment destination for a great time.
You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network.
More fire, more heat. This is Lou.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball,
That's right, Las Vegas. I'm back with you. Vegas Scoreboard Express. My main man, Ron, third down, best bets on the line with me, VSX contributor. Going to finish up this NBA recap of yesterday's games and then give you the grease for today. This section being brought to you by Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB, giving you 15% off and 7 days free. So don't get cable to get Fubo TV. So back on the line with me, my main man, Ron, third down, best bets. VSX Digital Sports contributor. We're talking about this NBA. Let's jump into it. Another early game yesterday we gave you some grease on. We told you to take them. Rotation number 551. The Phoenix Suns went out to D-Town and was able to put the cash in your pocket. 116-100 over the Detroit Pistons. Now, the Detroit Pistons right now are reeling. These guys are at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. I'm not seeing any opportunity to keep putting money on these guys. Couldn't even cover that spread yesterday. So when you talk about it from this perspective going forward, Ron, in the Western Conference, I see a lot more parity in the NBA today. A lot more teams have similar records. But when you look at Western Conference teams going over to the Eastern Conference to play some of these lesser teams, if you will, do you think it's still going to be a wash for the Eastern Conference? Because what the Suns were able to do yesterday on the road was quite amazing. I mean, you had DeAndre Ayton, 31 points, a block, got a couple of assists. You're looking at what Miles Bridges was able to do, 24 points. You're talking about a team that's clicking on all cylinders. Now, we do want to mention Chris Paul. He only had 2 points, but he was doing the best that he could. Chris Paul is one of the last elder statesmen of that early 2000 draft classes that produced so many of these good stars. But Detroit, what's going on? Talk to me, Ron. Go ahead.
They got problems. I mean, they keep getting very good draft picks, and they don't develop any of their players. The ones they do develop, they wind up trading away. So I just don't understand what they're doing there. I don't see what their philosophy is. I don't understand it.
I mean,
I don't see any way to improve this.
They've got a player, Bogdan Bogdanović. This guy was on the cusp for many years of becoming a superstar. Now he's kind of the main guy in Detroit. Yesterday, he dropped 23 points. You know, he did his best that he could, 8 of 17 from the field. But I look at the rest of the teammates that he's got. He's got Sean Bay. What this kid have? 25 points. But the rest of these guys, they're just not getting it done. It just seems to me that they're not playing with any intensity. And Saddiq Bey, he's another one of these top draft picks, like you said, that they're not developing. What's going on with the head coaching in the NBA? Because we've been seeing that more recently, and that's going to lead into our next segment, talking about this college basketball. Because what I saw yesterday, oh my God. We'll get into it, Ron, but from a coaching standpoint in the NBA, you're talking about developing these young stars who are now essentially college freshmen, college sophomores, because they're coming out so early. What type of coaching perspective do you think needs to change in the NBA to kind of put out a better product? Because what we're seeing right now is kind of a continuation of what I'm going to talk to you about with what I saw in college basketball. But go ahead.
Well, I think we need to get back to fundamentals. I mean, you got a lot of kids coming out. These kids parents are hiring specialists now, and the kids can't shoot free throws. That makes no sense to me. All they teach them how to do is to shoot threes now.
It's ridiculous.
What happened to playing in the key? What happened to boxing out? What happened to rebounding?
Oh.
I mean, they don't do basic fundamentals anymore.
Right. And I mean, what I see in college, and we're getting ready to talk about that after this last NBA game that we gave you yesterday, and then we'll do a couple of picks today. But what I saw yesterday in the college games that I watched, going to blow your mind. I'm going to lay into these kids, but let's talk about it yesterday. Another loser for the New York Knicks. That was a dog that we thought was barking. Couldn't get it done for you. Tom Thibodeau, again, running that team like an 8th grade middle school team, losing to the LA Clippers at home. The Clippers were able to come out west as the dog, cover the plus 3.5, rotation number 553, beating the New York Knicks 134 to 128. Another game this game actually went to overtime. The Washington game almost with that missed free throw. Again, we won't even get too much heavy into that. But the New York Knicks losing at home again, another team with a lot of talent, a lot of early draft picks, some good trades. They've got good players. Can't buy a ball game. And these guys have been shuffling coaches as well. So the Knicks, being that they have an opportunity now with all of the players they have, do you think they got to start trying to do trade bait? Do you think it's just an organization problem? I personally think it's just a problem with the organization. I mean, these guys are always in the news for things that are not related to basketball. And when you look at it from that perspective, how can you continue to bet on a team, even if you are a home fan like me, essentially, when you see these coaches shuffle in and out of New York every other couple of seasons, and it's the same result? The Knicks started off hot. They had a lineup, and then Tom Thibodeau went back to doing the same thing that he always does, changing up the starting lineup, changing up the rotation. Guys can't get into a rhythm. Talk to me about what you think is going on in New York, because, again, that plays into what I was saying about coaching. I just don't see these superstar coaches anymore in the NBA. Go ahead.
No, I agree 100% with what you just said. I mean, it's a Dolan problem. It starts with him. He just sends out this just negativity throughout the organization, and it just grows like a wildfire, and it spreads. I mean, you see it, like you said, you see it already. Jalen Brunson got there. Everything was great beginning of the year, and you're already hearing stuff in the news and stuff already.
I mean, Jalen Brunson, I mean, can you imagine leaving the Dallas Mavericks, coming into New York to be this savior point guard that they allegedly needed? And again, I don't believe all that. You had Cam Reddish from Duke, a Mike Krzyzewski coached player. Barring the Duke curse, he could have gave you 3-4 good seasons. They missed out on the Zion Williamson draft. So when you talk about it from that perspective, I think it's just a big organization problem. The Knicks need a lot of help. So rounding it out, talking about a couple of games on the line today. Again, this being brought to you by Fubo TV. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com, click that live Fubo TV link and get hooked up. Looking at it today, early games, rotation number 567, the Orlando Magic, +2 on the road to rotation number 568, the Charlotte Hornets. Now, the Charlotte Hornets right now, live line, -2, but you're talking about a team 15-39. Again, another one of these dogs that you think is barking, but it's not barking. Going against the Orlando Magic, 21-32. Not much of a better record, but the Charlotte Hornets are the home favorite. Let's talk about the way these lines are made. Is it an injury situation out in Charlotte or Orlando? Or are they just not? Again, it's a lot of young players. A lot of them are milk carton for me. I haven't seen them. But what's going on? I think Mo Bamba tried to get in a fight a couple of days ago. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it seems like they're turning the NHL all of a sudden in the NBA. We had a bunch of fights this week, so they're definitely getting aggressive, that's for sure.
Well, they should start getting aggressive and attacking the basket, making some layups or some wild dunks. But anyway, you talk about a team right now, a lot of this young energy, the Orlando Magic. Let's take a look at where they are in the Eastern Conference standings. Cellar dwellers in the Southeastern Division. So again, what's the point? Do you think this is a team that maybe can put some cash in your pocket today? Young team, have a lot of talent, Again, every single one of these teams in the NBA have a lot of talent, but how are they using it? So in my opinion, just go ahead and take that home favorite. Take the Charlotte Hornets. They should be able to dig something out. And then this last game that I wanted to give you right now, because like I said, what I saw yesterday in the NBA, right on the money. Indiana Pacers, rotation number 570 at home versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, rotation number 569. Cleveland, the shocking team out of the Eastern Conference. These guys are balling, 32-22. Going up against Indiana, 25-29. Indiana 4 games under 500. -5 Cleveland Cavaliers on the road. Do you think that's a good bet to take today? Because the Cleveland Cavaliers, shockingly, after the LeBron era, they have some solid coaching. These guys seem to be able to win some games and put cash in your pocket. But talk to me a little bit about it, Ron, and then we'll go to the short commercial break. Take a little bit of time to talk about some college basketball, and then I got to get out of here to get my main man, Scotty, beam him up Webb on the line. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would go Cleveland on that. Cleveland's a good basketball team. They are solid. I think they're going to be there in the playoffs. They're going to be a tough factor.
That's a team that you can keep on your betting list. The Cleveland Cavaliers. Want to give a shout out to my main man, Zach Weiss. We know you love the Cleveland Cavaliers. Zach Weiss, broadcaster up in the Connecticut area, been doing his thing for a while. Big fan and contributor to the VSX Digital Sports Network. Let's talk a little bit about what I saw yesterday in the college basketball. Now, I watched this game. I sat down. I stomached it. It was terrible. Rotation number 721. The St. John's Red Storm, a.k.a. the Johnnies, went out to Cincinnati and got absolutely demolished by the Xavier Musketeers. Rotation number 722, 71-96. Now, let's talk about the fact that these guys are not playing. They got these skills trainers. I've never seen so many missed layups in my life, Scotty. Missed layups, errant passing, taking three-point shots right out of the gate from pulling it on the inbounds. No sort of control when these kids drive to the basket now. Once they leave their feet, it's like their body goes back into puberty, man. You're just sitting there like, yo, dude. And there's no control. The ball just flies up at the basket, clanks off of it. Three-pointers creating holes in the backboard, stones. I mean, Seriously. What are these kids doing? What are these parents doing? You're paying somebody to teach a kid to play like this? Talk to me about it. Go ahead, and then we'll take this short commercial break.
Yeah, they look bad. There's no skills anymore. They're just not skillful players. They can't shoot. They can't rebound. Some of them can't even jump.
It's ridiculous.
Dribbling's becoming a tough thing now. I mean, come on. Teach these kids how to play basketball.
It's ridiculous. And I scrolled through. When I stomached through that game, both halves, it was a disaster. And I'm sitting there watching this game, and I'm screaming at the TV like, no, I saw the Big East sign. The Big East sign, in the paint, you said nobody goes in the paint. I saw that Big East sign the entire game. I could read all of the letters. No one works in the paint in college basketball anymore. You had this guy, Jack Nungy, who was the leading scorer for that game for Xavier, 7 feet tall, Band-Aids on his fingers, launching threes. He missed one so bad yesterday, I didn't even care about the one that he made. But again, JB, the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, Ron, Third Down Best Bets, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning. Any final shout-outs before I go to this short commercial break? JB, the Ticket, and Vegas Scoreboard Express. Not giving you any college basketball picks today. I can't suffer through it. It's like looking at high school basketball from the middle of nowhere. Kids are playing four-man ball. I don't know. I mean, it's terrible. But, Ron, any shout-outs, and then we'll get over to my main man, Scotty. Beam him up, Webb. You guys are going to want to stay tuned for that. KSHP, AM 1400, VSX Digital Sports Networks. Ron, go ahead.
Yeah, I got one for a good friend, Donna Gomez. She's dealing with some health issues right now. She's in the hospital. Get well soon.
That's right, Donna. Get well. JB, the Ticket. Stay tuned. You're rocking with the boss of the big board. When I come back, going to have my main man, Scotty, beam him up, Webb, on the line with me. You guys know what to do. Stay tuned. Grab your bankroll. Hit the window and beat the line. You're rocking with the Vegas Scoreboard Express on KSHP. Super Bowl props. Big game. Money drops. That's what I'm giving you next with Scotty, beam him up, Webb. You guys stay tuned. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard. Giving you that grease. Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
Here's to your health, Saturday afternoons at 1 on 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas. Online at KSHP.com.
The Klondike Casino is a friendly local spot that features their signature restaurant, the Klondike Grill, serving up fresh food fast. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner just off the 95 freeway on Sunset Road in Henderson. You will find the Klondike Casino featuring all your favorite games from the Strip in the comfort of a neighborhood casino. You can place a bet at their full-service sportsbook or start your day with a breakfast plate that comes with your choice of potato and toast. Or check us out for lunch or dinner and try one of our many sandwiches like the popular beer-battered fish sandwich or the Philly cheesesteak. Check out the full menu at KlondikeSunset.com.
Welcome to Hash House A Go-Go, where we've been serving farm food and crafted cocktails for over 2 decades. Visit us for the full Hash House experience at any of our 5 Las Vegas locations. Hash House A Go-Go is where old school meets new and gets twisted. We bring people together over good food and fun. Come in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and come hungry because our portions are huge. Visit us online to see our entire menu at hashhouseagogo.com. Hash House A Go-Go. It's a Midwest thing, and there's nothing else like it.
Pushing the limits, weekdays noon to 2 on 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas. Online at KSHP.com.
This football season, stay in the game with Fubo TV. Over 100 live channels, including NFL Network, NBA TV, and FS1. Don't miss any of the action. Get 7 days free on us at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV. You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network.
More fire, more heat.
That's right, Las Vegas. All my sports bettors around the world rocking back with the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, live from the KSHP studios here in Las Vegas. VSX Digital Sports Networks. Segment being brought to you by Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. I'm going to be hooking you up 15% off that first month and an additional 7 days free. Talking about the big game right now, the Super Bowl. It is coming up February 12th in Glendale, Arizona. And to give you the grease on it, the prop bets, the sides, the information you know is going to put that cash in your pocket. My main man, Scotty, beam him up web from the East Coast Sports Investors. You can go to eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Follow him on Twitter at Webby20 MLB. So again, Scotty, thank you so much for coming back on the show. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great, JB. It's a wonderful day here in Florida, nice and warm, and getting ready to be watching these games.
That's what I'm talking about. And again, you guys be sure to watch these games on Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB, giving you 15% off. Or you can go to my website, VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Going to be hooking you up there as well. So let's talk about it. The big game, February the 12th, less than a week away. And we're going to be able to put some cash in your pocket. The two best teams in the NFL are now going heads up, the last rotation number of the year. Let's jump into it. Rotation number 101, the Kansas City Chiefs at the Philadelphia Eagles in Glendale, Philadelphia, getting that home grease. Rotation number 102, minus 125 on the money line, plus one for Kansas City Chiefs on the spread, plus 105 on the money line. Scotty, in the pregame, we were talking about some very interesting facts about a season or so ago in Philadelphia regarding to this game, because as you mentioned, and again, shout out East Coast Sports Investors, our guy over there, Jeff Dawson. Again, give him some grace. He just said Jeff Dawson is the one who gave you this breakdown. If you look at that early line, that opening line, and you're not respecting it as a bettor, it can get you in trouble. Go ahead, Scotty.
Well, I would tell you this, that's one of the things I learned from Jeff of working with him for years is, one of the comments he would always make is, the sports books put out numbers for reasons, and you have to respect the number that they open with. And if you don't respect those numbers, a lot of times you get burned. And Circa opened this number at Kansas City minus 2.5. So, I saw a tweet that Jeffrey Benson put out, the guy that runs Circa, and he said, the bettors thought my number was garbage. Well, that tends for me to believe that he's taking it a little personal. Not that he really cares. I mean, he just wants to make money on the game. But, when you put that number out there and you open the number at Kansas City minus 2.5, and then all of a sudden it flips around and, at one point it was the Philadelphia minus 2.5. It's kind of settled back down to 1.5, depending on where you're looking. I think that we're missing some of the key things here. If the sports books really think that Kansas City is a better team, I think that you can't just run in here and go, okay, well, Philadelphia's going to walk all over them. They got a better defense. They got this. They got that. So there's a lot to be said to be looking at the Kansas City side.
So let's talk about it a little bit. Andy Reid, head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, probably the best head coach of this particular NFL era. He's taken two different teams to the Super Bowl. He's taken two different teams to the playoffs. Now we're looking at one of his former teams here in the playoffs, the Philadelphia Eagles. We know they had Doug Peterson. Now they've got Nick Sirianni. But from a standpoint of coaching in Kansas City, do you think that Andy Reid has a certain level of comfortability coming into this game? Because we haven't heard a lot from Andy Reid all season. And we know Andy Reid likes the media, but we haven't heard a lot from him this season. He's just been steady plodding along. Kansas City right back into the Super Bowl. So do you think, Scotty, that this could be a good bet for the bettors just to say, look at what Kansas City has done, barring a few issues, they should be here? Is that the way you feel? Go ahead.
Well, I think if you go back to the beginning of the season and you think about the AFC West and what happened, well, they lost Tyreek Hill. And you then throw in the idea that Russell Wilson was coming to Denver and that the Raiders made the playoffs last year. Everybody was talking about how good this division was and that Kansas City was ripe for the taking. And I think Andy Reid basically said, you know what, we're not gonna allow that to happen. He obviously dominated the conference. He dominated the league. He dominated his division.
I'm telling you, Pat Mahomes as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that he's probably put together one of his best seasons in terms of how he's coached this team and then changed who they are. Because, you know, Tyreek Hill is a guy that goes down the field, the fastest player in the league, scores, you know, from late, deep passes and stuff. But now they don't distribute the ball that way. I mean, they throw to, 12 different guys in a game. So I think that the way that, Kansas City plays is not the same as they did a year ago. And I think that all comes down to coaching. So I agree with that statement that, I think that Andy Reid is taking a different personal approach to the game, and he has been much better at scheming the games and play management and getting guys open.
Very true. Very true. Now let's go over to the side of the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, shout out Linwood, Hard Rock, Hamilton. You guys, Linwood always talks about on the show bringing that Rydell, his former defense, Philadelphia defense. I got to give him the grease where the grease is due. That's a strong defense. It's a really strong defense. You're talking about a front four, a linebacker core, and a very solid secondary core. What do you think they can do to slow down Pat Mahomes? Because if you look at what the situation was when they played Daniel Jones, and again, Daniel Jones, we know he's on no level of Patrick Mahomes. I'm just throwing that out there. But he was playing with a high level of grease, and they were able to shut these guys down. Okay? And then they move in to the next week and do the same exact thing. So when you look at it from that perspective, do you think the Philadelphia Eagles are just that defense? You're talking about a total right now, 50.5. It hasn't moved. And this is over at BetUS. Again, go over to betus.com. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com. You can click that live link and get signed up. But this is a very strong line, 50.5. Do you think you can play this on the under perspective? Because let's take a look at what Kansas City was able to do last week. They didn't put a lot of points on the board to beat the Bengals. And again, the Bengals beat themselves. I mean, that was just, they were right there. And like I said, a couple of plays go another way or two for the Bengals. And we're talking about the Bengals in this Super Bowl. So I always talk about teams that if they perform, how they perform against top level talent this late in the season, especially in conference championship games. And it was the same thing that I was talking about with the Buffalo Bills when they barely beat the Miami Dolphins in that first round and then came out the next week and they got smacked. So when you talk about it from that perspective, do you think the Philadelphia Eagles now are looking at it to say, look, we've got to really dial in the defense. Don't let Patrick Mahomes and this offense start spreading the ball around and moving down the field. Let's keep them 3 and out. Let's keep it under. Do you think that's an opportunity for the Philadelphia Eagles defense to do that? And then we'll talk about the offense a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting way to look at the game because looking at some of the numbers, the Chiefs in 19 of their games with a 49.5 number, 10 of those times they came under that number. And with the Eagles in 19 times, they were under that number 6 times. So if you add those two together, that's 16 times they come under that number out of 38 opportunities. So that's 42% of the time being under that 50.5, 50 number. So there's a chance that this game would stay under.
I'm telling you. Go ahead.
You got to remember that these two teams played each other, not this year, but the year before. They played in 2021, and they played in Philadelphia. It was in October. And it was an offensive just juggernaut game. It was Kansas City scored 42 points in that game, and Philadelphia scored 30 points. So that was 72 points. And when I looked at like the yardage and all that, Kansas City had 471 total yards, and the Eagles had 461 total yards. Now, granted, these aren't the same teams.
Right.
Tyreek Hill had 3 touchdown passes caught that game, and Mahomes threw 5 touchdown passes in that game.
Right.
Now, these are totally different teams, but it does tell you that, there's offenses win these football games. And I think that we're in a situation here where we can talk all we want to about how good these players are, and they are. I mean, Philadelphia's got a really good defense, and I think that what people are missing the boat on here too is we talk about Philadelphia and their sacks, and for the season they had 70 sacks, which is really high, and then as they got into the playoffs, they got more. But Kansas City is. Nobody talks about them on that side of the ball. They're number 2 in the league in sacks with over 50. So
amazing. Go ahead.
They can rush the passer. And so then you have to look at it from a perspective of what do the offensive lines look like? Well, Philadelphia allowed 44 sacks on their offensive line, and everybody talks about how good it is. Kansas City only allowed 26. So Kansas City's got an offensive line and defensive line that can stack up here.
That's what I'm talking about. JB the Ticket, my main man. Scotty, beam him up, Webb, from the East Coast Sports Investors, giving you that grease, telling you where you can put the cash in your pocket. It is an interesting thing, and when we come back from this short commercial break, we'll talk about it. Kansas City Chiefs defense has been flying under the radar. So you're talking about the number 1 and number 2 sack leaders in the NFL. 50.5. Let's talk about going under, baby. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express. When I come back, more with my main man, Scotty, beam him up, Webb. Waking you up early in the morning, KSHP. Want to thank everybody out there in Radio Land for listening. Every weekend, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., you can rock with the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket and Vegas Scoreboard Express. I'm giving you winners. You can check out my picks on CapperTech.com. Again, go over to CapperTech.com, search for Vegas Scoreboard Express, and we're going to be getting you where you need to be. So, Scotty, any shout-outs before we take this short commercial break and come back and drop some more grease? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to just shout out, I know we have World Baseball Classic coming up, and that starts in March. So keep following me. We'll be talking about that as that starts to come along real quick.
You already know what time it is. Scotty, beam him up, Webb, East Coast Sports Investors, the World Baseball Classic. Follow me on Instagram at JB the Ticket. Follow him on Twitter at Webby20MLB. You guys stay tuned. KSHP, VSX Digital Sports Networks. Let's wake up early in the morning, and you know what? Get that money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.
Those oldies but goodies. Saturday mornings 11 on 1400 KSHP North Las Vegas. Online at KSHP.com.
Is your dog suffering from a sensitive stomach? Hi, it's Kelly the Cookie Lady from Mooch's Munchies. Our dogs had super sensitive tummies, and I needed to find a low-fat treat that wouldn't give them gas or other issues. Most of the treats on the market were loaded with fillers, chemicals, and chicken fat. Many of them weren't even food. Well, I knew I could do better, so I developed Mooch's Munchies, and I'm happy to be able to share them with you. Stop by our store or our website, moochesmunchies.com, and find out why we say that Mooch's Munchies are totally pawsome.
Zen World Premium CBD offers full and broad spectrum CBD oil, extracts, and capsules which are designed to help you feel your best. Their products are sourced from the best organic hemp and natural ingredients on the market and are tested for quality, purity, and potency. They have a full range of items from health and wellness to beauty to pets. Call 725-205-9223. Visit online at zenworld.com or stop by their location at 9895 South Maryland Parkway and Silverado Range Parkway. Mention KSHP for 10% off in store or use code KSHP online for 15% off.
As a 3-time international award-winning restaurant, Joe's New York Pizza uses only the freshest and best available ingredients. From giant slices of hand-tossed pie to calzone, strombolis, fingers, and wings, Joe's serves all your favorites. Stop in for a slice at one of their 2 Las Vegas locations at Paradise and Harmon or South Las Vegas Boulevard, or you can check out their menu at joesnewyorkpizzalv.com.
into the VSX Digital Sports Network.
More fire, more heat. This is Move.
You're listening to the boss of the big boy. Vegas scoreboarding.
That's right, Las Vegas. All my sports bettors around the world. JB the Ticket is back at you. My main man Scotty, beam him up web. East Coast sports investors talking the big game props. February 12th, Glendale, Arizona. The Super Bowl. You can watch it on Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. I'm giving you 15% off and an additional 7 days free. So, Scotty, back on the line with me. Let's jump into some of these big game prop bets. Again, being brought to you by BetUS. Go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Click that BetUS link. And again, want to give a shout out to my folks over at Quickly. Best Indian food you can order. Delivers all over the U.S. Again, if you want to Netflix and chill, get some great Indian grub, go to VegasScoreboardExpress.com. I've got those deals for Valentine's Day, hooking you up with some great Indian food from Quickly. And be sure to use those coupon codes that are on the website. So let's talk about some of these prop bets here, Scotty. Got about 9 more minutes left in the show. This is a really interesting prop being brought to you by BetUS because I did this a week ago in that Philadelphia game. I called almost the exact score. I said 30-7 and they won 31-7. But here is something we're talking about, and I'm taking a look at BetUS. The football props for the exact score of the game. Chiefs 10, Eagles 7, money line, plus 50,000. That's absolutely insane. Chiefs 13, Eagles 10, plus 21,000. Absolutely insane. Chiefs 16, Eagles 10, plus 33,000. Let me tell you something. I can go down the list, and the first 10 prop bets on the exact score of the game are all under. That's a dog that's barking. We were just talking about that. The number 1 and number 2 defensive teams, as far as sacks are concerned in the NFL, going against the number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks this season. I don't think this game is going to be a big-time scoring affair. Go ahead, Scotty.
Well, I think one thing to keep in mind is that these are the top 3 offenses in terms of how fast they play. So they snap the ball quick. They get a lot of plays off. They play fast. So when an offense plays fast, they move the football. Well, that also means if they go 3 and out, they didn't take off much time. Well, in those kinds of conditions, in those kind of games, that stretches out the clock, which also stretches out opportunities. So I think you got to balance that with a little bit of how good these teams are. So I look at it this way, right? So say Kansas City can move the ball. Well, if Kansas City can move the ball, you got to realize how good the Philadelphia defensive secondary is, because they can play defense in the secondary much better than they did in the past, and much better than what they did when they played them when they gave up 40 points. So I think it's a quandary kind of situation. I think if you play the game under, you should expect the game to be in the 40s, not in the 20s or 30s, because I think they're going to get there. So each offense is going to score. The other issue is that the Kansas City secondary is not very good. That they actually rank dead last against covering the opponent's number 1 wide receiver. But if you watched them play last week against Cincinnati, they didn't look like that last week. So I kind of think that they're going to play their best. I think that this could be a game in the mid-40s to high 40s, and it doesn't go over the numbers.
That's what I'm talking about. My main man, Scotty, beam him up web from the East Coast sports investor. Thank you so much, Scotty, for coming back into the big board. We're getting ready to get out of here. Any other information you want to give the bettors? And again, you guys can watch this game live on Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. 15% off. That's the best way to watch the big game. Order yourself some great Indian food from Quickly. Set up your own spread at the house and then turn your house into a casino if you live in a legal area go into VegasScoreboardExpress.com and click on that Bet US link. You can have it all at your house, do everything you want to do, and enjoy yourself, unless you tick the loser. But again, Scotty, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say the only other advice I would give is prepare yourself that maybe live inline betting might be a good solution for you in this game, because as the game starts and it's -1, -1.5, whatever, you're not getting a lot of value either way if you bet either side. So nice. you could certainly be in a position after the first team scores that you're going to get an adjusted number, and that adjusted number might give you an edge that way.
That's what I'm talking about. My main man, Scotty, Beam him up, Web, East Coast Sports Investors. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with JB the Ticket and Vegas Scoreboard Express. When I come back from this short commercial break, going to drop a shout out and then get the heck out of here. Scotty, thank you again so much. You guys, KSHP listeners, VSX Digital Sports listeners, JB the Ticket is going to be on the line with you every single weekend, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Going to be jumping on that FM dial here at KSHP, VSX Digital Sports Networks. You guys are going to want to stay tuned for it. So when I come back from this short commercial break, going to sign off, get you guys woken up early in the morning the right way. And if you go to church and do that type of thing, be sure to pray for your team to win the Super Bowl. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles, rotation number 102. Shout out to my main man, Linwood, Hard Rock Hamilton, defender of the youth, coming back from this short commercial break, and I'm going to get out of here. Vegas Scoreboard Express, JB the Ticket, the boss of the big board. Get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease. This football season, stay in the game with Fubo TV. Over 100 live channels, including NFL Network, NBA TV, and FS1. Don't miss any of the action. Get 7 days free on us at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled, get Fubo TV.